the Pulmonia. What a marvelous contraption. A part of Mazatlan history and an important part of the Mazatlan transportation system. These things are not only convenient, but they're also really freaking cool. And what better way to cruise along the Malecon of Mazatlan than in these cool open air cars. With the breeze in your face, the sun hitting your skin, it really is a fantastic thing. I suggest you try it. Well, today we're going to teach you all about the Pulmonia. Why, what, where, when, who, and we're also going to show you how to take a tour, so stay tuned for that. First, we'll start out by giving a shout out to our Pulmonia driver, Jesus. You're the man. Everybody check out Jesus. He's got a Facebook page where you can see all his information. I'll put his number up right here and his email. Contact him for an excellent ride. He's much cheaper than the rest of them. And if you're staying in one of the big hotels, they're going to try to offer you tours, but those tours are really expensive. You want to jump on Facebook, contact Jesus or some other guy, and it'll be a lot cheaper. Coming from the Rio Emerald Bay, we first got a taste of the modern side of Mazatlan, and later on in our tour we're going to see the Old Town Mazatlan, which is a historical area. But let's talk a little bit about the Pulmonia as we cruise along the beautiful Malecon. So the Pulmonia is an iconic form of transportation that can only be found in Mazatlan. They're really similar to golf carts. Some are painted with vibrant colors and have lights and loud sound systems. There are two styles, the traditional one and then the modern looking one like you see here. Pulmonias not only do tours, but they also serve as taxis, and they are very well suited for the narrow streets of the Old Town. So when it comes to the origin of the name Pulmonia, the word actually translates to pneumonia in English, and it's said that the locals named it Pulmonia because in the winter the open air would be so cold that you would catch a pneumonia, and that's obviously coming from the local Mexicans who are tropical people, but I think it's more of a joke than anything. I can in fact verify that it is a little chilly in the winter in Mazatlan, especially in the mornings. That being said, when you're riding on the Pulmonia during the winter months, you might want to bring a sweater. So Pulmonias were introduced to Mazatlan in the 1960s by a man named Miguel Ramirez Urquijo, and the prototype was a 3-wheeled vehicle, and it went so well for him that he eventually expanded his fleet to over 100 vehicles. So in terms of the tour, we paid 400 pesos an hour, which is a lot less than the other tour operators were charging. And again, check out Jesus. Now we can see some of the stops that we made on our tour. So after cruising along the Malecon for a bit, they take you to this beautiful fresh seafood market where you can buy fresh seafood and then have one of the local restaurants cook it up for you. Our second stop was Oxxo, the greatest convenience store in all of Mexico, to get some cervezas, because as we all know, no Mexican tour is complete without cervezas. Our third stop was Mirador Mazatlan. Up here you'll get fantastic 360-degree views of Mazatlan and the surrounding areas, and it's apparently a great place to watch a sunset. For our next stop, we headed back down to the Malecon to check out the El Clavadistas. That translates to the divers in English. These guys work off tips and they dive headfirst off this cliff. From here you'll also get fantastic views of Cerro del Creston, or Creston Hill in English. And of course we passed a lot of monuments along the way. There's a ton of them along the Malecon. The fact that we were paying by the hour meant that we couldn't stop and look at all of them. I suggest if you want to get up close and personal with the monuments, you should probably take a walk along the Malecon as opposed to a tour. Next thing we did was drive around the base of El Mirador, and that gave us views of the lighthouse, or El Faro in Spanish, and that's located at the top of Cerro del Creston. As you can see here, they also have zip lining, but this poor bugger got stuck up there, so that's a hard pass for me. One of the last stops on our tour was the Old Town. Here you'll find attractions like Plazuela Machado and the Cathedral of Immaculate Conception. Our very last stop on the tour was to grab some delicious churros. And if you've never tried churros, let me ask you this: what are you doing? So all in all, it was an amazing Pulmonia tour. I highly recommend it. Anyone that comes to Mazatlan must do it. The tour ended up lasting about 3 hours, and at 400 pesos an hour, that's 1,200 pesos, plus we tipped the guide 200 pesos extra for a total of 1,400 pesos. So not bad for 4 people if you divvy it up properly. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Toodles.